Hello everyone, this is Crypto Maximalist. Welcome back to another video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and get involved if you like the content. So taking a quick look at the markets, we can see over the past week or so, we've had that nice move to the upside for Bitcoin, and that has obviously dragged a lot of cryptos to the upside as well. Binance having a very nice rally here over the past few days as well, up over 16%. Obviously ETH up over 20% as well. Basically just having a very nice move to the upside in alignment with Bitcoin for the most part from what we can tell. Obviously we've had some bullish news in regards to Dogecoin. If you believe that, Elon Musk buying Twitter is bullish for Dogecoin. Obviously Elon Musk having a high correlation to Dogecoin means that whenever things happen with him, Dogecoin does tend to pump, and we can see that Dogecoin is now up over 100% on the week, up another 22% over the past 24 hours. You can see here had a bit of a pullback followed by another run, looking like potentially, it's forming a bit of a double top there, getting probably a bit overextended off the back of that hype, in our opinion. We'll take a look at the charts of that in another video today, so please go check that out. Also, make sure you like the video, guys. It really helps push the videos out to more people. We have loads of people watching our videos again, but we just need more people to like the video. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. But basically, you can see here, for the most part, the market, continuing to either be fairly stable today or having further rallies to the upside. You can see Shiba Inu also had a little bit of an extra move over the past few days as well. So not too much going on with Bitcoin, looking like it's just, it's had a nice little move up, and now it does look like it's consolidating in this area here, which is, pretty nice to see. So heading on to the main, basically the main article that we want to discuss today in terms of news. US lawmakers probe the SEC, Treasury, and the Federal Reserve over revolving door with crypto industry. US lawmakers have raised concerns about the revolving door between financial regulators and the crypto industry. Over 200 government officials have moved between public service and crypto firms, the lawmaker said, adding that they include 31 Treasury Department officials and 28 Securities and Exchange Commission former SEC employees, officials. Basically, they're talking about how there's a lot of, you would say, incestual behavior between all of these different institutions in the US, and it is a big problem. If you're part of the XRP community, then you'll know the former SEC chair actually went and joined a crypto firm that's big on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's basically straight after he launched the lawsuit against Ripple about XRP. Like, this is essentially direct competition, which there's got to be something to that, hasn't there? I'm pretty sure that anyone who looks at that with even a moderate amount of scrutiny would go, there's something not right about the way that he's just launched this case against Ripple and Ripple alone about XRP, and then basically gone straight away and joined a firm which is pro Bitcoin and pro Ethereum. We've also seen, there's a massive amount of potential collusion between government officials, the Ethereum founders, basically, just a lot of shady stuff going on. Lots of people from the government on the back end investing in Ethereum, etc. And then obviously the SEC not going after Ethereum at all yet, despite them, essentially, from what we can tell, selling unregistered securities, and it being quite blatant and obvious, judging by some of the videos that we have seen. We don't want to get too much into that because we're not massive experts on the ins and outs of American law in regards to how things are actually, regulated. But we would say, from the things that we've seen and the information that we've heard, that there is quite a lot of potential collusion, and potential, there's some shady stuff going on, to be sure. I mean, we all know about how there's senators that are blatantly insider trading in the US government, and it's something that people are calling for, basically a full ban on senators owning stocks or buying and selling stocks on the short term, because there is just a massive amount of insider trading going on, and we think this is probably going to extend to further things like this. And we can basically see that this article is pertaining essentially to this kind of problem of how these people can be in the SEC, then join the crypto industry. These people are supposed to be trusted regulators, but if they're basically launching lawsuits, as we saw with the previous SEC chair, his name eludes me right now. I think it might come to me in a minute. Was it Jay Clayton? Yeah, it was Jay Clayton. I've just remembered. Jay Clayton launched that lawsuit against Ripple, and then immediately left on the same day that he launched it, and then essentially went to another company, which was Bitcoin and Ethereum Pro, basically. So you would say essentially direct competition. So the fact that these people can do this and it's well within their rights and essentially the law is, you know, it's a big red flag for me, looking from the outside at the very least. And you can see this article is basically going into a bit more detail about how all these essentially these government officials are moving around in between these different, you know, government entities, private crypto firms, etc. And it is, you know, there's got to be something shady going on there. And it is something that is probably going to be a big problem that does need to be ironed out. Because, you know, this is essentially, you would say, favoring certain cryptos over others. You know, if they can basically put lawsuits against one crypto, join another crypto firm, be pro some cryptos and not the others. This is not, you know, fair market conditions. And it's obviously a massive problem. This is essentially illegal behavior, isn't it? To favor one company over the other from a government perspective when you're supposed to be a regulatory body and you're supposed to be impartial. So as you can see, as part of this influence campaign, crypto firms have hired hundreds of ex-government officials, and we were concerned that the crypto revolving door risks corrupting the policymakers process and undermining the public trust public's trust in our financial regulators. So the government's obviously coming at it from the standpoint that crypto is bad. And they're saying crypto firms are doing this on purpose to try and gain influence. But in our opinion, it's actually more likely that these people are acting, you know, especially you would say in regards to Jay Clayton, they're acting out of potentially their own interests or larger interests that we haven't yet discerned, about how they're essentially, you know, picking and choosing who wins in a free market and then going and supporting others. They're basically undermining certain products or companies and then moving and supporting others. Basically, they're probably, you know, getting paid potentially to do these things. So you don't know how far the rabbit hole goes. Obviously, I mean, as I said before, I'm in no position to accuse anyone of doing anything. But from the evidence that we can see, there is a lot of shady business going on. And from the government's perspective, it looks like they essentially want these people to, you know, these kinds of transfers between companies, etc., to be more regulated, because these regulators are, you know, they're already being painted in a bad light at the minute. I mean, the SEC looking like absolute fools in the Ripple lawsuit, if I'm being completely honest. From what I've seen, they have absolutely no legs to stand on at all. And, you know, Gary Gensler's basically made an absolute fool of himself coming out and not, you know, they've got no case whatsoever, have they, from what I can tell. And it just essentially continues to be a bit of a farce. So probably the government here coming out and trying to, you know, gain some credit back for their regulatory bodies, which are getting undermined heavily right now by essentially their own decisions. So you can see Americans should be confident that regulators are working on behalf of the public rather than auditioning for a high-paid lobbying job upon leaving government service. The rapidly spinning a revolving door out of government into the crypto sector, however, undermines both imperatives, the lawmakers stressed. Their letter concludes with a list of questions concerning each agency's guidelines to preventing a revolving door within the crypto industry. For example, one question asks about what ethics and transparency rules are in place to ensure the integrity of agency officials. Another question concerns how each agency protects its policies from being unduly influenced by current or former employees, potential conflicts of interest. The regulators were asked to provide answers by November 7th. This may well be, you know, in regards to the fact that Ripple have hired a few former, you know, government officials. For example, I'm pretty sure the woman whose name is on the money is also working for Ripple now for the American dollar. I can't remember what her name is either off the top of my head. But, you know, there's essentially the government looking like they want to come in and regain some favor from what I can tell for this. In regards to the SEC, the SEC have essentially, you know, they've come after Ripple in the most, you know, this is essentially the biggest crypto case going on right now by far, in our opinion. And they've made a mockery of themselves, let's be honest. I mean, they haven't had a case basically for the entire time from what we can see. Looking like those documents now are coming out about those internal discussions about what Ethereum was and how it was defined and why it was, you know, they didn't go after it as a security. So basically, they're probably going to lose the lawsuit to Ripple, or they'll probably settle. But from what we can tell, I mean, this is obviously a big problem, isn't it? And we have seen a lot of sketchy stuff going on in the US, so it'll be interesting to see how this develops. But this would essentially, we think, be our main story for today. This is something that does need to get solved. So looking at the next article then, as we said before, Hong Kong to start allowing retail crypto trading in March next year. This is obviously a big win. You can see Hong Kong is relaxing its crypto regulation to allow retail investors to trade the digital asset directly. A licensing regime for crypto platforms to allow retail crypto trading is reported to be enforced in March next year. As we've said before, these things can essentially only be a good thing. Obviously, a bit more regulation, bringing crypto to the mainstream, in a safe and regulated way. You can see there's going to be a mandatory licensing regime. So they're essentially going to start. They're going to start allowing people to trade crypto, bringing it to the mainstream. More people in the market, more maturity for the crypto markets, more regulation can only be a good thing in the long term, in our opinion. You can see Hong Kong plans to legalize retail trading for crypto starting in March after years of skepticism, a stark contrast to mainland China's ban. So as you can see, obviously this could be potentially a political kind of slur against China from Hong Kong. We all know what's going on there. But it's very, very interesting to see that, more and more countries are coming out now, basically saying that, that crypto is coming whether they like it or not. So they might as well, regulate it and allow people to trade it. So this is good, we think, for the long term. This is something we talked about in yesterday's video. You should go check that out. But crypto winter risks turning into ice age, as obviously these mainstream financial papers really don't like cryptocurrency, as we well know. You can see after a spectacular crash earlier this year, the crypto industry's most popular tokens have gone to sleep, suggesting amateur investors have fallen out of love with the once thrilling asset class, and big funds have decided to keep their distance. We obviously know that this is actually not true. We could say, realistically, yes, obviously this is the case, that a lot of retail speculators, those smaller people, have come out of the markets and lost interest in crypto, but we all know that they're going to be back. This article is obviously kind of stating that crypto is never going to come back from this. And this is basically what happens every single time there's a bear market. All the mainstream financial media rush for the chance to go crypto is dead for like the billionth time. And then we well know that, in a month or two, or it may be in a year, or maybe in 2 years, we'll see a huge rally for crypto. And all of these articles will essentially be completely wrong. You can see the price of the biggest token, Bitcoin, has hovered mostly around $20,000 now, since August, having peaked a year ago close to 70,000. Ethereum, the second largest, has failed to rally since its environmental overhaul in September. Average annualized volatility for Bitcoin is now the lowest since October 2020, according to analytics. At first, the drop in token prices were labeled as a crypto winter, one of the market's periodic dips, but the length of the now drab phase, combined with the thousands of job losses in the sector in recent months, suggests this is more of an ice age, with no grand theories emerging as the next source of fuel for rallies. As we know, it's pretty interesting that, these mainstream people don't really have much of an idea about how cryptocurrency works, especially, the big cycles that we do see. It's pretty, it's very, very unlikely in our opinion. Obviously it's possible, but it's very unlikely that we're probably going to have, cryptocurrency never rising again, in our opinion. You can see all of these, very, very scathing quotes about how, essentially cryptocurrency has just been trading sideways for the past 6 months and it's never going to go up again, etc., etc. They're talking about all the job losses, etc., in this sector, but these are the things that come and go in cryptocurrency. We all know for a fact that crypto is extremely volatile. These big companies should know that, and if they have job losses as the result of having a large amount of cryptocurrency on the books as part of their treasury, if it goes down and they have to cut jobs, that is negligence in our opinion, and obviously not the fault of crypto. And also the fact that these people are saying that crypto is never going to go up again is a bit, it's derivative of the current times, isn't it? Let's be honest. But we've seen in the past that every single time people say this, they're usually proved wrong. And in our opinion, they'll probably be proved wrong again. So another piece of news here, a new mining bill permits cross-border crypto payments filed in the Russian parliament. So obviously this is in regards to the current issues with Russia in the world. Obviously using cryptocurrencies for international settlements would be very useful for them. Obviously, their current economic situation is very, very poor indeed. And we do think things like this are going to be becoming more and more common. We obviously know that XRP is going to be used for cross-border payments. Banks are already using it. They've got a crazy amount of integrations and partnerships. Sooner or later, XRP is going to have a ridiculous rally, in our opinion. We can see here another article. Annual tech gathering takes aim at crypto. In Lisbon, one of the world's biggest technology get-togethers kicks off in the Portuguese capital on Tuesday, with organisers saying a key aim is to ask tough questions about cryptocurrencies. So obviously, as we know, when things are going bad in cryptocurrency, you basically can't wait to talk shit about it, let's be honest, can't they? But when things are going good, they do tend to, everyone tends to jump on the bandwagon. It's just one of those things that really polarizes people. But for the most part, these big financial institutions don't like cryptocurrency in general because, they have a very, very bad opinion of it from past experiences, from what we can tell. We can see here, Zhao's company is the dominant player in the crypto sector, but has been repeatedly accused of trying to dodge regulatory scrutiny, claims the company has denied. And it has become embroiled in one of the biggest stories this week with a $500 million investment to back Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. This is essentially, this is a lot of spitballing in the space, isn't it? We don't think there's too much to this, apart from the fact that you could say this is pretty much a bit of a slur article against Binance. Obviously Binance, they've had their problems in the past from what we can tell, but a massive leader in the space, and they are trying to bring forward cryptocurrency into the mainstream, etc. Whatever they do with their money is pretty much their decision, as long as they're not doing anything really shady. And we don't think backing Elon Musk to take over Twitter is particularly shady, in our opinion. So as far as we can tell, we don't think anything is too weird or wrong is going on there. We can see crypto exchange CoinCheck plans NASDAQ listing in July 2023. So Japanese's cryptocurrency exchange CoinCheck, has confirmed plans to pursue a public stock offering in the United States through the NASDAQ, a move that would give the company access to the country's lucrative capital markets. So obviously more and more things like this are going to happen. It'll be interesting to see if they actually get approved for this. But from what we can tell, obviously this is another interesting bit of news that we do think is probably going to, it's going to spike. We're going to see more and more of this, aren't we, over time? More and more cryptocurrency focused companies coming and listing onto getting public listings, basically, like Coinbase, etc. were pioneers in that regard. But these things are going to happen more and more, aren't they? It's pretty obvious where we're going. We can see another article here, what the Russia-Ukraine war has revealed about cryptocurrency. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has tested the capabilities of crypto in a real-world conflict where sanctions and inventive blockchain crowdfunding models abound. The war, which is drawing into its 9th month, has uncovered a raft of blockchain benefits, such as the capacity to support humanitarian endeavors. It's also revealed how much control national authorities can exert over crypto networks. So it's interesting to see how much crypto has been used for crowdfunding. Obviously, it's fairly decentralized and governments can't actually get that much involved with it. We do think that, cryptocurrency, the decentralized aspect of it is very, very important and one of the main benefits of it. And you can see this is just a bit of an overview of the current market conditions. Layer 1 blockchains have all had a bit of a rally. All these, so-called Ethereum killers here. Most of the market is up over the past week or so, as we have been seeing. So just a quick look at Bitcoin then, before we essentially call this video a day. Let's just take a look at the charts here. You can see quite clearly that Bitcoin, is just essentially still trading inside of this range that it has been for a long time here. This is the supposed crypto ice age that these mainstream financial institutions have been talking about. You can see here, chopping it sideways like this. Essentially, over the past week or so, we've had that breakout of that really key level of resistance like this. Resistance. We've come up now, we've broken out of it. We're getting above our EMAs. Very bullish in our opinion, getting above that 55 moving average here. Very bullish in our opinion. Had this big move up, breaking out of resistance. We've consolidated, chopped sideways here, and looking like, we've hit a bit of a resistance at this area here, which is around that $21,000 level. Probably a little bit of a psychological level. But we do think now we've broken above that resistance. We broke above our EMAs. We've essentially backtested this area here. We're probably, our target is heading up towards that $22,500 level. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to check out the links in the description below to support the channel. Grab yourself some free money bonuses, and we'll see you in the next video.